Right, so I've got Nina and I've got Carlie. Hi,
Hello,
good to
Vic.
see you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Nice to
look,
see
And
you.
you?
so I've spoken to Nina before. Carlie, I haven't spoken to you before, but the traditional first question is, what do you do? So whichever one of you could dive into that question.
Carlie?
Okay, so I do Kambo for people, sort of one-to-one ceremonies. Um, Also do a little bit of like coaching, spiritual coaching for people. Like intuitive coaching, life coaching
Mhm.
stuff.
Uh,
Um,
and and how long have you done that? How long have
um,
you done it for?
I've introduced the coaching side of things very recently. Um, the Kambo, probably about a year, yeah.
Right.
But been sort of studying it, experiencing all of the different shamanic world, probably the last 2 or 3 years myself. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, and
So,
it's
so Nina,
Mm.
tell us what you do. I know we've spoken about all your yoga stuff before.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things I've done, but I'm now falling into, I think, what my life path is, and it's the healing side, and obviously working with these different plants. So, coming from a music background and dance background to finally, well, literally days ago, giving everything up and taking this journey into the plant medicine and focusing more on retreats and this healing, which, I feel is so powerful for us Westerners. Is what we need.
Mm. Mm. So obviously these things just don't happen out of the blue, do they?
No, they
Um,
don't.
Life sort of throws a few curved balls at you, and you end up.
Well, actually, Vic, it was you what inspired me. You was the
Oh,
first person to ever plant the seed.
yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So when did I?
I think
When was
it
that?
was obviously I was when I done music with you, I was always on a healing journey, I think, with yoga. But you said one day to me, "Oh, I've just come back from Peru being in a hut with a shaman."
Mm,
And I just remembered it and never forgot it. And I was like, that's amazing what he's done. What is that all about? You never mentioned anything to do with what you were doing. But I was like, wow, that is such a powerful thing to have done.
mm,
And yeah, it planted the seed,
mm.
strangely enough, to me now doing it. So
No. Okay. That's
yeah.
interesting. I
Mm.
do tend to mess people's lives up by comments that I make to them.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah. Going back to that thing, what was interesting, and you might have realised this. I don't know. I wasn't really completely prepared for what it was. I sort of,
I don't
I
think
sort of,
anyone is.
well, no, even if you have people tell you what it is, but I actually wasn't really sure what it was at all. But I was sort of going with my girlfriend at the time, and she knew the guy. He was a really well-known writer back in the sort of 80s and 90s. And he'd made a comment about, if you think you know stuff, forget it. You got to do this, right? And so I sort of turned up, and it was sort of interesting because there were lots and lots of weird synchronicities that happened. One sort of deja vu thing that happened on the aeroplane, and even by the time you're getting there, you think, well, this is like really odd. It's like it's things have started before I've even
Yes.
arrived. And I
Mhm.
think that is one of the things that comes across when you're dealing with, you know, well, let's just call it plant medicine. And there's lots of different
Plant
experiences of
medicine.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, it's almost like you think you've made the choice, but actually the choice has been made for you. You've been called out.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Yeah.
And it is that experience, isn't it, where you sort of go, hang on a minute, this is like, this is odd. Um, and what I found was that it was the thing, and obviously you know this when you play music. You know that you're working on a level, you're consciously aware of what's going on, but there's this sort of thing going on underneath that's
What's
going
guiding
on.
you?
Yeah, musically, you experience that, and artistically, you experience that all the time. Like there's a natural sort of, call it what you want, wisdom or knowledge or something that is not in that conscious layer at the top. And you realize that once you start to get in touch with that through art or whatever, that that's an interesting thing. But to have that happen where you start to see that this is coming from another area, like you're interested in something, or you get drawn to something, or some weird coincidence happens and you start going, oh, that's interesting, I heard that somebody talk about that just out of the blue the other day, all that sort of stuff. So the experience was just sort of blew the doors off type of thing. So yeah, and then of course, and obviously I think you've hinted this to me, that it changes everything.
It does. It changes. I don't know how it does. I mean, people can say, oh, you become a better person, obviously, or you're more patient. But like you've just said, that feeling of it gradually happens with the integration. It's not you're purposely doing it.
Yeah.
It is we call her a female energy. She is actually doing it, I feel.
Yeah.
And that is within the integration of you becoming a better person. You're guided to do that. I think people are guided to do it for sure. And the calling, you get a calling, and you have no choice. It'll keep calling.
Yes,
until you
that
surrender.
is very true. Yes, it does. Yeah. So what was either of you can answer this. What was your first experience with something like that? Because you've mentioned Kambo and, or any other medicine. What's your first experience where you go like, okay, there's no going back here?
Yeah. Well, for me personally, was Kambo. I was in a really bad place. I'd completely lost myself, and it was the trauma of my dad dying and being in a really bad place with a kind of an abusive relationship. And I done Kambo, and it was the most intense thing I'd ever been through. I thought, this was a real shamanic ritual I was going through, and he knew what I needed. I've never been through the same experience since, that intense, and I've been doing it years now. And within 2 weeks, my life had changed completely. But with the plant medicines, yes, she put me on the journey, but it was when I went to Peru, when I came back, last year, everything has changed. Yeah, it's complete surrender. No, not much fear. Just understanding what this journey is all about. And I also believe that some people are meant to do it for others and some people are not.
Yeah,
so I think she chooses who she wants her people to get this medicine out there, in the Western world. And a shaman did actually say that she chooses you. She chooses her soldiers. Yeah. And you, once again, like you said, you have no choice. It just gradually happens. You think, shit, I've got no job, I've got nothing. Here we go. Total trust.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So what was your experience then about the first time you realize, oh my God, this is something different?
Well, Carlie, oh, sorry, Carlie.
Yeah, I think I think it takes a while. It takes a couple of ceremonies actually. Literally peels back a few layers, a few more layers, a few more layers. It feels mine was sort of quite deep trauma from childhood. When you've done a lot of healing through a lot of ceremonies, then you think, oh, this has to be passed on. It has to, the teachings of it has to be passed on to others, because you can see it changing people around you, like your children, your family. Everybody benefits from it all. And then you think, oh, this has got to go wider. Well, that's what I thought anyway. This has got to go wider. Everybody needs this. But for me, yeah, it's really, really has been quite profound healing.
I think you're definitely right there. It's my most intense journey in Peru. I went for a terrible, terrible ceremony, but she eventually told me after the ceremony, you are healing others now.
Yeah.
So whatever we come back with, there's an energy around us, what people start to draw to, and you are actually putting that energy out to other people. It's not about you anymore, is it?
No, that's true. Yeah.
No, I think that's very true. Because obviously, if you think about what we've got in the West, we've got this thing about the individual, you see. And I think it takes us a long time to realise that we're part of an ecosystem. And what's fascinating about, Amazonian sort of, plant medicine, and of course it's the same for, like Mexican stuff and all the rest of it. You are dealing with something that is not, although they may appear sort of like human at times, but they're not, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
You're dealing with something that it's like a network. Well, this is what it appeared to me, that you see the big picture. That's a bit crap to say it like that, but you're not just seeing you. You're seeing you through the eyes of something much bigger, and the fact that you're plugged into this, and it could be your own family line, for instance, because I had the experience of seeing, like, genetically the line that I was coming from,
the ancestral line.
Ancestral, and also bigger than that, like it was an ecosystem line. It was very odd, and I actually experienced a couple of things that I had when I was a kid, where I used to play around with mirrors, like my mum's dressing room, like a bureau type thing, or like a dressing table, and they'd have these mirrors. So there's a big mirror in the front, and then two little side mirrors with another mirror. And because you angled the mirrors, you got your own image going off into the future and into the past. And it used to remind me, and Jimi Hendrix had that famous picture of him looking like he was part of a lineage of Shiva and and
the gods,
Ganesha and stuff like that going on. And I was doing this, and I remember, because my mum was an amazing woman, I remember looking at me, watching me playing with this, like the experience I had in that moment was I'd experienced it before when I saw this happen while I was sitting, in the middle of a jungle somewhere. That it was almost like seeing lots of worms, and those worms, like pictures of me going off, like a stop action thing, going off into the future, and in the past, and then in every other direction imaginable, right? And that felt like that experience that I'd had with the mirrors. And then because you get these layered effects, don't you? When it hits you, you don't just go, oh, that means that. It's like, oh, this means that, and this, that, and that, and it sort of goes like on loads and loads of little levels at once at the same time. It goes like, bang.
And then you forget it all.
Well, you can do. Do that. But what that gave me was, like, my mum knew I'd had that experience before. When she looked at me, I thought that's what the feeling that I had.
Yeah,
that she knew that expression of what I was playing with, that I knew what it was deep down, and that I'd had it before.
That's
And then
wonderful.
experiencing it there,
Yeah.
it was like, this is the thing that I was knowing about when I was younger.
Yeah.
And it's that, and it was like, okay. So,
You get it.
yeah. So it's not like the individual, it's like this thing that you can't really wrap your head around. And I think that was the thing that really, one of the first things that really made me go like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So
It is amazing. And sometimes it's so overwhelming, the answers you get. And it normally does relate back to childhood. And it normally can bring you back to some incident that you would think, wow, that what is going on? But maybe a few weeks of integration, you think there's a light bulb moment.
Yeah.
yes, yeah,
And yeah, I've had that a lot with my mother's love as well. Like,
yeah.
wow, you know, yeah.
So you're saying this is a really cool thing. And
Highly intelligent.
I might have said this to you because you did sort of send me a message, or I sent you a message when you were going out because I think I said
Good luck and
something.
stuff. Yeah.
Well, good luck and hope she's kind to you. So
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I did
Yes.
say something.
Yeah.
Anyway, but you said about integration
Hmm.
because I'm always interested in how long it takes somebody to land. You know what I mean by this, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you've got all this stuff, and then suddenly you've got to make sense of that
Hmm.
here, now. And
Yeah. It's hard to come down. I think
it's very hard to come down.
it's the energy you're physically feeling. So we call that kind of there's two ways of looking at it. It can be the ayahuasca ego, where your ego is battling and you think you can rule the world.
Yeah,
So that's one kind of energy you feel. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, because
yeah,
it's the energy is just
yeah,
flowing through the body.
yeah,
And then some people can come back grounded and depressed and can't cope.
yeah,
But it's understanding that both of them kind of scenarios or feelings are normal, and you must have good people around you, good integration therapists and stuff. I always come up with crazy ideas, very creative, bit fearless, but then
I do that too.
yeah, me and Carlie are very same energy.
Turns everything upside down. The kids think, oh, she's coming back again. What are we not allowed to have phones or no Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
yeah,
And then, but
yeah.
you also find that you're distancing. I find the hardest, the people you start distancing yourself.
Yeah.
You become very, very
Isolated, really.
yeah, isolated, very alone, but you're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
are. I'm comfortable, yeah, with that totally.
I
The
think that's one of those.
tolerance is hard.
I think that's true of any change that people have anyway. That sometimes,
Yeah.
your life changes, and people that were people that you would associate with start to disappear out the scene because you're different, right? But this is obviously magnified um, through those type of experiences because it's really difficult for people who who are logical, right?
Mm.
And I mean that from the point of view that everything has to be analysed and everything has to have a meaning. Because what you're doing is you're coming from a point where actually you don't have to know why. You just have
No.
to experience the thing and it opens the door. So you don't have to analyse why you felt like this or why you felt like that.
And I
some
think
people
that's the maturity. The more you do it, that is spiritual maturity.
I
That
think
you
so.
eventually go not quiet. You just don't opinionate. You don't over explain.
Yeah.
Especially with family, you don't need to try to explain what it's like when you go on these journeys. You are
Mm,
just that person.
mm,
You know, there's kind of boundaries.
mm,
And that's what I mean about the ego. Some people come back and their ego is so high and they have to tell the world. And then they start to judge other people, but they don't realize it. They don't know they're doing it. But true maturity was when you do this is when the silence happens. And you start to get the word out in a more professional way, like
Yeah.
podcasts or talking to people and
Yeah.
and helping others mainly.
Yeah, well, I think by doing things.
Yes, it's helping other people without throwing it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as soon as you start helping other people, and it's not because you're trying to proselytize something or whatever, you're using your experience of life, because it's multiplied, you know, your ability to empathize with people and be able to see, you know, you might not agree with somebody, but you can see how they've arrived where they have.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the thing that, I mean, yeah, I think it's really important. So, so what, I've sort of lost the, I had an idea of where I was going, but this is going off on a tangent. So, with the work that you're doing now, what's your general, without, you know, you don't have to sort of explain too much if you don't want to, but what sort of things are you doing with this?
So I'm basically just working with the medicine. Same with Carlie. We've kind of got together to work together with the plant medicines, learning more how to navigate it. We're both going to Peru in November with some people we heal with, and a great retreat we always go with. And it's learning now to navigate her. So yeah, deeper understanding. So deeper understanding, not just of plant medicines, of, you know, me personally, I want a deeper understanding of spirituality coming from different cultures, and then I want to put it all together. And especially this realm, the DMT world we go into when we experience these plant medicines, just understanding that I think I've got kind of like an idea of what I think is going on, but I've got to do my homework. So yeah, going around the world to do that, running retreats and helping other people, because it's profound and it has amazing results with showing people that they're loved. That's what it does. It shows you you're loved by something so powerful. And
so remembering
the start of everything of their healing.
Yeah.
Because they
you
don't
said something
think...
interesting there, Kylie.
Remembering.
Remembering.
Yeah, and taking you back and sort of remembering who you are, what we're here for, you know, just natural. I think I always say the easiest way to explain it is like takes you back to factory settings. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I get that.
Back to nature and back to what's really important.
Yeah. And I think this is the thing, because it's obviously, for me, it, you know, had a profound effect on my understanding of music. Interestingly.
Yeah, deeply will, yeah.
Because as you say, you can work with that, you know, you can ask a question and see what comes. And you know, and it's what I found interesting about it was the answer was sort of obvious in a way that it was so obvious that you missed it.
Yeah.
Which I think is one of those things that is quite interesting. That, you know, it was primarily language. That was the thing that, what, you know, the answer to the question about music, that it's just a language, right? And then, because then you go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And then you realize exactly not just why that is a language, but actually what a language is. So it sort of answered it in a way you could sort of glibly go, well, it's a language.
Exactly that, yeah.
But you don't realize that the language is the language that, you know, when you're born, before you're born, you hear your mother's heartbeat and you hear the sound of her voice. So that's integrated. And that is really the essence of what music is. You know, it's a humming noise over a beat, right?
There you go, yeah, vibration.
But then you sort of go, oh, okay, so that means to say that different cultures will have different types of music because their language is different. You know, the way they sort of think about sound is different. And of course, that spills into the fact that the philosophy of somebody like an Eastern philosophy and a Western philosophy are very different about life, and that reflects in the music.
Yeah.
And it's like an opening a door. So you don't just get an answer, you get an open door that's like, oh my God, yeah, right. And
You get it.
and you can yeah, exactly.
And you can experience it by bringing them cultures together.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing. And I've been interested, obviously, what happened here, because obviously cultures in the past had something like that. It wouldn't have been the same type of plants, but they certainly would have taken things. They would have eaten mushrooms and
absolutely,
all sorts of plants that had a way of having an effect, or smoking something. Obviously, that's another thing, because before the tobacco arrived, people were smoking all sorts of stuff, right? They
plants.
Yeah, just plants. I think it was colt's foot, and that was
Oh
these
yeah,
type,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So there were lots of interesting things, and you sort of think, right, okay, so this is obviously about the human condition, that humans are weirdly wired up so that we respond to those chemicals, whereas other animals actually aren't particularly, but we are, strangely. Even alcohol, we have a better way of dealing with alcohol than any other creature, right? And you think, well, that's weird, isn't it? That's weird that we should be like that.
It is weird
because it builds culture. That's what it
exactly,
does.
yeah.
And then you start to realize that actually, yeah, okay, so this is not floating around on its own.
No.
It's sort of locked into storytelling and sitting around a fire. And
I genuinely think everything comes from plants.
yes,
I think like all the gods, what the Hindus saw,
oh
all
yes,
spirituality.
yes,
This is my take on it. Jesus, they were all doing plant medicines.
there's a lot of theories about that.
Yeah, and this is where it comes from. There's this higher power is what guides us. It's a technology.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing you're saying about Indian gods. Okay. Because obviously they had soma, which was the drink that they had.
And they also had like mushrooms growing out of the cow shit. That's why the cows are sacred, because of what grew out of their shit.
Really?
Yeah. But I've always been fascinated in the fact that the Hindu spiritual pictures
which I see
actually
all the
look
time.
like the type of thing that you see
Yes.
when you're
On
experiencing.
your journey.
When I start to go in a journey, I always see Ganesh. I
Yeah.
always see Carlie. She shows off, she's very flamboyant, with her fangs, and I'm like, them Hindus, this is where they've got their gods from, this world.
Yeah.
100%. They were nicking DMT, and this is where they created their gods, because their gods exist in that world.
Yeah, well, they actually, it's all, all this stuff is coded information. They talk about
That's it,
soma as being the drink of the gods, right? And
that's right, yes.
and you sort of look at that and you go, right, and their artwork looks like that.
Yeah.
It looks like the person who's
it
been
just makes
doing
sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes absolute sense. Absolute sense. And also the fact that you can never, you mentioned Ganesh, that you can have a god that's half an elephant and half human or whatever.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you sort of go, right, okay, I get that. Yeah, so I'm very interested in the fact that we've obviously always done something like this. And I know the Mesopotamian cultures definitely had stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one person was telling me that there is a possible, this is not, the idea that soma as a drink.
Yeah.
But there is a particular bark, I can't think of the name of it now, but it was used to dye fabrics. Okay. And this particular bark, you could mix that.
Mimosa. I think it's mimosa.
It is a
yeah.
But there's another bark. It's,
right.
Anyway, doesn't matter too much. But it might be mimosa actually. what they were saying is, and of course, if you think about it, that's what gives rise to the idea of a flying carpet.
Yeah, of course. Everything
Just in the
it just
same, just in the
originates
same
from
way. Yeah, just in the same way as you can go, well, Siberian shaman are feeding fly agaric to reindeer
yeah,
in order to process the stuff. You know, unless you're like hardcore Siberian shaman, you can actually eat it and then
yeah,
pee it, and then people drink the urine because you've
that's
processed
right.
the
Yeah,
right. But the idea that if you fed it to a reindeer, you would get flying reindeer because they're
yeah,
tripping, right? So it's really interesting, and it's like it's all there.
yeah.
It's
What's
all there in the
more
stories.
interesting is that DMT is in us.
Yes,
So the chemical is in our lungs. It's
yes, yeah,
something we release when we're born to help us because it's such that's a journey in itself. And when we die, and it's like
exactly.
this energy comes in to just help us transition.
And of course, it does the same thing in women's childbirth, right?
Yes, childbirth. Yes, you do release it with childbirth.
You do. And the
And
only thing
breath
that's
work
stopping
brings
that,
it out. So this is
yes,
the Hindus again. The breath work, you start to see the DMT's released from the lungs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. But as I say, I think that type of thing, that idea of people experiencing something,
Yeah.
and I've pondered this quite a bit. Obviously lots of people did other things, sleep deprivation and goodness knows what else, and all the other stuff. But I think it's interesting that thing of getting to that point where it starts to inform all the other things that you do. Sorry, we've got the odd car that was by. I mean, there's hardly anybody here, but just every now and again you get somebody going into the village sometimes. Um, so music. Let's talk music because I know that you're very musical. So you're interested in doing something with music, aren't
Yes.
you?
So when I was in the jungle, I just asked her, you asked for intentions, and of course I worked with you musically 10 years ago, a long time ago. And I thought I could never do it again. I could never, and I just asked her, please bring it back to me for me, and make it easy, a little bit easier for me. And yeah, I met Carlie. Carlie's got a beautiful voice, and we're singing in our ceremony on Saturday. And it's beautiful. It's little steps, but wonderful steps. You know,
Isn't it?
it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
all in the ego. It's not, oh, I've got to do this and like it used to be. It's really, I found my place musically, and
Mm.
it's learning. Keep
Yeah,
learning.
yeah, it is. I mean, obviously, what we're doing here, because we're running a blues camp thing, we've just got
Yeah,
a couple of people that play. And one of the biggest problems is just to get people to sort of understand it's okay. Whatever happens is fine. If you make a mistake, it's fine.
I know. Yeah,
It's not like you have to be perfect because nothing's perfect,
nothing
you
is.
know. And this is like, the old Sufi thing about, well, you know, you can't be perfect because it's not possible, right? Um, so it's about sharing something that's coming through you artistically with other people. And how it arrives is just what it is. And
Yeah,
it's so difficult to let go of the ego of about,
Yeah.
oh, I've got to do this, I've got to be as good as no, just play, you know.
yeah. It's not about for what other people think. It's I'm playing because I enjoy it, and I'm learning a lot more like that. I'm
Mm.
learning like just to be different approach to music this time
Yeah,
round, and it's
yeah,
wonderful. It's lovely. It's so
yeah.
beautiful.
Well, I think that's a really good thing because that is one of the biggest problems that people, and you know this,
Yeah.
everybody's got a imposter syndrome when it comes to art. I'm not good
Yes.
enough, and so and so's better than me, and all that sort of stuff. It's all
Yeah.
nonsense because
Comparison. Yeah.
it's got nothing to do with that. It's to do with the fact that as a human, you are like
An instrument. Yeah.
a conduit for something to come through you, an idea, a musical idea, and it comes through you in whatever way it is. You don't own it.
No,
Mm.
you don't.
That's the point. It's not for you to own, but it's for you to be part of. And again, it's this thing. It's like not about the individual. It's about the ecosystem of
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, it's really interesting. So because I've always been interested in sort of Ikaros, the sort of songs.
Yeah, that's why I
Um,
reached out, and it'd be wonderful to work with you.
yeah, well, it's always been interesting that because I see a similarity with some, other types of roots music.
Yes, yeah.
And obviously things like Mongolian music is
Mm,
very shamanic, okay,
yeah, very.
but it's
Yeah.
very different. But it's
Right.
still, you still get what's going on, right?
Mm.
But those sort of things about these patterns, and it's not like trying to understand exactly what that pattern is, just the rough shape of it is often just what you need
Yeah,
and how they go. And they are so similar to blues riffs if you want to sort of
yeah.
step back at it and go, well, that sort of melody does this. Sort of repeats itself. So it's this idea of, right, okay, it doesn't really matter.
Be beautiful to do fusion blues, wouldn't it, with the
Yeah,
Icarus?
well, I'm recording with Chris at the moment as well.
Yeah.
So we've got this other project on. And we're mixing different ideas together. And I was going to do some sort of overtone singing over the
Oh,
track, but I'm not
yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure whether they're quite ready, because it's like, oh, okay, what's Vic up to now? Okay. What the hell is he doing? I don't know, just get on with that, and we can always mix it out if it doesn't work, you know.
Well, you know what
But
you need to do? You need to come and find me and Carlie for one night and then
yeah,
record it.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I could record it. There's just that,
Yeah.
you know. But I like just to explore things.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So you're traveling, aren't you,
I'm
soon?
traveling, yes, but I am coming back a few months, and yeah, traveling, taking the guitar with me, practicing, and
Oh, cool,
for
cool,
a few months, then back working with Carlie.
cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. So, Carlie, you're keeping everything ticking over. Is that what you're doing here, or you're doing it?
Yeah, I'm not going to do loads. I'm not going to do any more retreats until she's back. But
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
just doing bits and bobs and keeping the tribe. Doing bits and bobs. Yeah,
Yeah. Because
yeah.
I bumped into you in Glastonbury, didn't I? Just
Yeah, that was so strange. Hang on, Vic, you've gone a bit funny.
well, I
Oh
am.
no,
I am
I've got
peculiar
it.
anyway.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was once again another so strange. So Glastonbury's not far from Portland, about an hour.
Mhm.
And I was in this, and Vic's from Kent, and I was in this cafe, and I kept having this feeling weeks. I'm going to ask Vic to help me. I'm going to reach out to Vic. And I got this little tap on the shoulder. There's Vic in this restaurant in Glastonbury, and I was like, Vic, I was like, this is amazing. I really want to do the shamanic music. And he's like, yeah, get in touch. And that was it. I mean, I don't think that's a coincidence.
Oh no, nothing's a coincidence.
No,
It's
that was
just
so strange. That was just so beautiful. And I remember sitting down and saying to all my friends, wow, that's if that's not a kick up the arse, I do not know.
yeah. I'm not normally in Glastonbury. Once a year
No.
probably. So
So
it's
you're
but
into your tarot reading, right, Vic?
yeah. What I was doing, there was an occult conference down there. We go down there because we have friends who do things, and it's always some professor talking about some medieval text or something. But or somebody talking about Welsh Celtic myths or something. It's really interesting if you're into that sort of stuff, which I am.
Yeah.
And next year we're doing something down there, but we're using cut up. So that's the technique where you cut things up and stick them together to create lyrics, right?
Oh
So
wow.
that's William S. Burroughs, who was
Okay.
obviously an occultist anyway. But so it's Burroughs and Geisen, who was the artist.
Hmm.
But it's one of those things because people know, David Bowie used this technique and whatever.
Mm,
But it's actually getting people to, do the process, because a lot of people know what it is, but they might not have done it. So we're going to do something because you just within sort of 20 minutes you've written a poem which people go like, bloody hell, that's good, because it just comes
yeah.
out of nowhere, right? And then you start to push it in the direction of what these people are interested in. So it'll be fine. It'll be interesting.
That's great.
Normally when I do stuff like this, I tend to push it in a slightly different direction so I don't frighten the horses. But um, But it's such an interesting technique, because in actual fact, it's probably what we do with ideas anyway, that there are things in our head
Yeah.
and we take this crazy thing from over here and stick it with this one over there. And it's like, oh, that's really cool.
Puzzle, yeah.
Yeah, but doing it consciously, and then you realize that everything's actually cut up, because an idea is, you know, a set of chords is this set of chords here, and then you jumble them up and stick them back together again. And, you know, or a riff is something you've heard before, but if you turn it upside down or stuck that bit over here, it becomes a new melody, you know.
As long as you don't stop playing the music backwards, I don't care.
Well, actually, I just did a load of recording. We put the guitar solos on backwards, so it sounds like Jimi Hendrix. So that's been quite good fun. And
right, I see.
Yeah, that was really good, because it was like, oh, that sounds like Jimmy. It's really good.
Yeah. I was going to say, a lot of them done it then, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Yeah. Cool. Right. I think that's a nice chat. We could stop there,
because
that was wonderful. I'm obviously on my travels, so I won't be able to edit this until I'm back.
I understand.
But yeah, that's great. Really nice.
But thank you so much, Vic, for your time. And
thank you. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Yeah, it's really good, and all the best.
See you soon, hopefully. Reach out and do some music.
And you're right about that piece that you sent me. Is just really 2 chords, but it's a case of like what you want to do with that backing.
Yeah. Okay. So when I'm back, I'll come and find you.
Maybe think about what else you could do that's not a guitar.
Okay.
Just a thought. I'll just float that there. All right.
Thank you, Vic.
All right then. So I will say goodbye now, but don't disappear. We'll have a quick chat before we finish.
Okay. Thank you.
I can't see anything in this light. Because it's the sun. It's like, what the hell's going on here?